We also can see there's an increase in frequency, so the number of hurricanes or tropical cyclones taking place every year increases. And the final physical threat we'll discuss here is the idea of wildfires. So wildfires threaten not only infrastructure and homes, but also cause increased loss of biodiversity, from animal populations to habitat loss. All these threats culminate in both direct and indirect impacts to the environment and human society. We are not removed from what could happen, right? At the same time, it's not something that will just happen in one region and never touch us in another region, right? At some point in time, we will all directly feel these threats. Impacts. So we will experience some form of impact no matter what. Some common impacts to expect from a changing climate, right? And the physical threats that were discussed in the previous slides include biodiversity loss. More than 44,000 species are threatened globally, which represents 28% of all species globally, right? So this is according to the IUCN Red List. Okay, some of this loss in species comes from loss of habitat as well as oceanic coral reefs being lost due to ocean acidification. We could also expect an impact on water resources. So a reduction in the amount of rainfall a region may experience could lead to an increase in water scarcity, no access to water for vulnerable groups of society. Lack of rainfall could also lead to agricultural decline and threaten food security. Obviously, your poorer communities who already have a lack of access to food and water are going to be the most impacted by a changing climate. Changing climate can also lead to our health impacts. A common example is the increase in heat stress experienced due to increased temperatures and heat waves, as well as a increase in deaths caused by increased dehydration. Climate change could also cause widespread human displacement, with many people needing to migrate to regions that can provide for their basic needs. You'll see the term climate refugees becomes used more commonly to refer to especially people who have been displaced due to changes in climate. Finally, there will be economic costs, right? Increased temperatures could affect manual labor hours, influencing industries like mining and construction, reducing productivity. It is important to note that climate change and subsequent impacts are interconnected. We don't just expect to see one impact happen in one region and not happen in another region, right? With forced migration, this will affect the economies of regions that people have to leave, right? At the same time, you are reducing the amount of food. Food is related to agriculture. We could see a decline in agricultural production, right? So it's important to understand that everything we're discussing and will be discussing throughout this course is interconnected. So, how do we mitigate? What is a good way to prevent this from happening? We obviously can't change what's happening immediately. We can't fix the problem, but we can prevent it from getting worse. So some of the mitigation techniques include warming targets, right? So the IPCC sets targets to limit the increase in average temperatures in order to avoid a severe consequence to climate. These targets help to direct policies and laws set out by governments. Okay, so 2-degree warming is basically a threshold. If we go beyond that, we're at a point of no return. expansion of climate policies and laws by government. So there has been an increase in more climate-aligned policies and laws across the globe. Some of these policies are geared towards cutting carbon emissions and providing tax incentives to companies that are more climate conscious through the use of renewable energies. Another term that's often thrown around are things like carbon credits. So certain countries get different types of carbon credits, and this kind of dictates how much carbon dioxide you can emit throughout the year. An increase in global finance is important. This has been especially prevalent over the last couple of years. In order to ensure that policies can be enacted, there needs to be a form of financing. So since IPCC Report 5, which was roughly 2017, there has been a large increase in the types and availability of financing from financial institutions. Remember, money is necessary for the building of more renewable energies, funding research into climate change and sustainability, as well as helping people impacted by increased natural disasters due to climate change. We also see an increase in the use of renewable energies, for example, wind and solar. The energy sector is one of the largest contributors to carbon dioxide emissions, and there had been a concerted effort to moving away from coal-fired power stations to more renewable options over the last couple of years. Over the last 20 years, the cost of electricity from renewables has become cheaper than electricity produced using fossil fuels, and this has led to more people pushing for renewable energy. These are some of the global mitigation strategies that are required to help fight climate change. But institutions and individuals also need to play their own part. WITS, like any other institution, needs to play their part. So here's some of the ways in which WITS is trying to mitigate their contribution to climate change. It's trying to structurally change how the institution works. WITS is prioritizing sustainability and climate change through interdisciplinary research. So this is just research that involves multiple different disciplines working together to find solutions and to understand a problem. The university is also adopting an energy efficient strategy that includes the use of renewables, such as solar panels instead of generators. WITS is also trying to manage the campus in a sustainable and efficient way to help reduce the impact on the environment. If you'd like to see any more about what WITS is doing, there will be links in the module to the WITS website and how they are trying to deal with climate change. So what's next? We need to remember that climate change is something that will affect all of us. So what is important after this is for you to reflect. Are you comfortable with what climate change is? Do you understand the greenhouse effect? If so, go explain it to a friend. If you cannot explain it easily, you don't understand it. Can you think of any other climate change impacts that you have seen? If you need time to review or you're not clear on anything, please rewatch this lecture. It will be posted on the module. Like I said in the beginning, in real life, this is not possible. So if you don't understand something, use the resources your lectures give you, like readings, then ask your lecturer tutor if you still don't understand. In the next lecture, under Module 1, we will be looking at the past and future of climate change.
Simran, I am handing over to you now.
Thank you, Ovive. Okay. Okay, so did everyone watch the lecture very carefully? Can some of you unmute yourself? This is like a discussion, so.
Yes.
Also, are you able to access the chat?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're not able to unmute yourself. Please drop any questions or any comments or like whatever you want to discuss in the chat as well.